I'm Katie Kreitzer from Over the Hill Orchard, and today we're going to talk about fruit breeding.
So today we've got a California almond here, and what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make an almond that survives in Saskatchewan and tastes great. We have a Russian almond that survives but it tastes horrible, and this California almond tastes awesome. So what we're going to do is we got to do some pollinating. So here we have a Russian almond, and this is a hardy tree that survives -45, not a problem. It's a little bit past the flower stage. You can see all the petals have fallen on the ground, but we need to take some flowers and collect the pollen off of it. So basically it's just picking flowers, and we'll take them inside and collect the pollen off of them, and then we use the pollen from this Russian almond to put on our California almond.
Now we're going to harvest the pollen from the Russian almond flowers that we collected. We take a flower and we rub it against the screen like this, just lightly, so that the stamens, the pollen just falls off and lands on the paper.
Yeah.
Like that.
And you can see, well, it's hard to see, but there's a few pollen grains sitting on there, and we take another one and do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So just rub her up.
Rub, rub, rub.
Okay, now lift it up and see if you got any more.
Yeah,
Let's lift it up. Oh, a little bit more. So we go through all of these flowers to collect the pollen to be used on our California almond. So now we've got the collected pollen from our Russian almond, and I'll see if I can, no, it's very difficult to see, but we put it under the light to dry it out, to simulate sunlight, and to get it all dry, because wet pollen will not turn into the pollen dust which we need to put onto the pistil of the California almond. So we need to dry it overnight. So once we dry it, then we put it into these tubes here, these pollen tubes. We label it, and we put it in the freezer for long-term storage. So we take the flowers off of the California almond. And why do we do that, Katie?
So then the bees can't pollinate with their pollen that they've collected from other plants.
That's right. Yeah. So we don't want the bees coming and they've rubbed their bodies on all the different flowers that they've pollinated in the day. We don't want them contaminating what we want. So basically you can either cut off the flower, and we're only taking off the pollen. We're leaving the female organ where the actual fruit gets formed, or the nut gets formed. So you can either use your fingers to nip off all the pollen, or we got this little tool made which actually is very, very handy, and you just sort of slice into it.
Okay.
And it pulls the whole flower off, but it leaves the pistil, which is where the fruit gets formed. Okay, so we've got the pollen that we've collected from the Russian almond, and what we're going to do is put it on the end of a pencil, or the eraser on the end of a pencil, and put it on the pistil. It's very difficult to see, but when we emasculated or took all of the flower parts off, we left the female part where the pollen goes on. So we put the pollen right onto the tip of the pistil there, and then the pollen grains will go down, all the way down to the bottom where the fruit forms. So we're just going to open up the vial of pollen here, and we'll just mix this up here, and we crush the pollen grains so it becomes just like a powder. So you can see all the pollen on the pencil eraser, and now we're just gonna dab it on the different pistils that are out there. And we're just basically doing what the bees do. The bees go around and collect pollen on their bodies when they do their nectar collecting. and we're just doing the same thing. We're just picking the parents. We're just picking who has the babies. We're selecting the mom and the dad. So now we've done all the pollinating on this California almond, so we will see if the fruit actually forms on it. We did a good enough pollinating job, Katie and I. If the fruit forms, then it's the seed inside that is the special thing, where it'll hopefully have all the qualities, eating qualities of the California almond and all the hardiness of the Russian almond. So that's the exciting part about fruit breeding, is you never know what you're going to get, just like a box of chocolates. So we'll have to grow out all the seeds for probably about 4 or 5 years to see what kind of fruit quality there is, and then we go from there. So here's hoping we have a hearty, great tasting almond for the prairies.